You're good.
My stay in Job Corps has an adventure of its own. The road to Job Corps, however, was a journey filled with unfortunate events. Before I even had the slightest clue that a program like Job Corps existed, I was a struggling college student holding a small job and calling a local chiropractor's office my home. The time spent in that office can be best described as living like a rat, always keeping noise and light to a minimum so that police officers would not question any lights during evening hours. Always entering and leaving the door in business attire so that no one would suspect that me or my roommate were living in there. This, of course, was illegal, and I knew that our days were counted. I decided to move as soon as I had the suspicion that the other offices might know of a real purpose there. I then spent 2 months living with a Greek family in Monrovia. Although they were kind-hearted people, their economic situation forced me out into the streets again. At this time, I was living in the streets and sleeping in my car at nights. To this day, I cannot recall colder nights in my life. The January nights were so cold that many evenings I would go to sleep without feeling my toes. During the day, the challenges began with opening a door in search of employment without an actual address and closing it only to stare at gray concrete, looking for any kind of change to purchase whatever was on the dollar menu. This lifestyle lasted several weeks until the headaches from poor nutrition motivated me to look for another way of survival. I had one more call left on my phone, and I was saving that for an emergency. I used it to call a friend, an ex-coworker, with the intention of receiving advice to fix my situation. She simply invited me over to talk about the situation without having to rush the conversation. As I explained my current situation, she mentioned a program that she knew would help me out, Job Corps. I was offered to stay in their home just while I got into the program in Long Beach. I sold my car for about $1,000, and although I loved my car, it was the greatest investment I had ever made in my life. With the money, I was able to pay rent, pay my phone bill, get some business clothing, and buy groceries as well. I applied as soon as I could, but unfortunately did not get into the program for nearly 2 months. By this time, I was running out of money, and the people I was living with were wondering if I was ever going to move on. After going almost every day to try to meet with admissions counselors and days from joining the military, I finally got the call that announced my entry date on March 17, 2008. Long Beach Job Corps was now my new home. During my stay here, I kept in pursuit of a medical career by taking the Certified Nursing Assistant course, and the later part of the course mandated that we go off-center for training. For my class, this meant going to Long Beach City College. With the completion of the CNA program came the opportunity of continuing a college education. I was drawn to student life at LBJCC, and quickly my leadership abilities became apparent and caught the eye of many students, faculty, and administrators. I first began serving in ASB as the Director of Academic Affairs, and one of my goals was to reestablish an academic honor society called the Honorary Order of Fame. After serving as Vice President, I was elected President of that organization, and as President, I took the organization to a number of service projects like the Samoan Aid Drive and the Job Corps Tutoring and Mentoring Program. My success as named President won me a nomination for Student Body President, which I ran and won. With a weight of over 30,000 students and the support of one of the best cabinets ever assembled, we had one of the greatest semesters in student life. To my credit, I was entered into the Hall of Fame for the Viking Volunteer Program at LBCC and also named Man of the Year for LBCC. During this time, I became involved with statewide issues that affected our education and had the pleasure of meeting Governor Schwarzenegger, several California legislators, and had the utmost joy of giving a speech in front of thousands on television next to the United States Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis. And of course, as many of you have seen, I have now been appeared in the Signal Tribune as a Long Beach success story. Today, I'm having the time of my life interning with Councilmember Robert Garcia as the Assistant Field Deputy for District 1 and meeting great leaders like U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer, Mayor Bob Foster. Looking back on the past hurdles and the road and the triumphs of today, I'm ever more grateful for Job Corps presenting itself in my life. None of what I just mentioned would have been possible without its great assistance and support it provided. Giving back to Job Corps will always take priority for me whenever the opportunity is given. I formally want to thank everyone who has taken the time to help our students and myself to see the world not as it is, but for what it can be. With all sincerity, love, and gratitude, thank you.